So this now, yesterday we discussed the report by the South African Human Rights Commission, which revealed that over 400 Eastern Cape schools still rely on unsafe pit toilets. The body launched an investigation to look into the conditions of sanitation facilities in the foundation phase schools in the Eastern Cape. Let's give a reply now to the Eastern Cape Education Department spokesperson Vuyiseka Mboxela, who is joining us this evening. Good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. So, going through that particular report, it was sad to see in some parts, for example, you've got Upper Kumasha Lower Primary School in Alice, which still relies on unsafe traditional pit toilets, and young learners are at risk because the seat sizes are far too large for small children. A similar situation is happening in Yamaha Primary School as well as Sondaba Senior Primary School, among others. Why is it that we're still having this conversation in 2025?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, Ms. Rani. First and foremost, I think I must say, as a department, on behalf of the Honorable MEC and the department, we acknowledge the report as presented by Human Rights Commission, and we respect it as such. But one thing that I think we need to put out there is that when they were conducting their study in the schools that they've taken for sampling, the component that was not there, it was the part of the department, so that there could be some explanation on certain aspects that which they were raising. And of course, with the collaborative work that we have with them, we hope that going forward, we are going to work together in producing the next report.
Okay, right on that point.
One of those
Vuyiseka, pardon me, let's not lose that point. I'm going to get to the schools in just a moment. You said something just interesting. Pardon me for coming in there. You say you respect the report, but do you accept it?
We respect the report, we accept the report, and we accept it with some caution on certain aspects of it. For an example, how they view a VIP toilet vis-a-vis what is a standard operating procedure as agreed by the buildings of the building standards of the country, and also their expectation of what should be a scenario even in a rural school where they expect that there must be a flushing toilet. That for us is something that is not possible, because for us to provide a running flushing toilet, the village itself where the school is must have a bulk water system. So that's why I'm saying that we respect the report, but we believe that there are areas to which we could have clarified them had we been part of them as they were conducting the study. Coming close to your question is that some of the schools that you've just mentioned, I know them, they are in Amatole West, and those are the very old schools in the province. And if you look at them and the schools that we are building and handing over in different communities in the province, you find that there's a great change, because now we've got schools that have got age-appropriate toilets, because we understand that for us to be able to meet the human expected standards, we must be able to know that if a school is starting from grade R to grade 9, then therefore it means the shape and the size of the pit toilets that are done in those schools, they ought to be different. That is why now all the schools that we're talking about in the previous administration, the 100 of them, and the ones that are being built now, 32 schools across the province, they are going to be able to be age appropriate, and any toilets that are being built now in the province, they are able to give respect to that, because we do understand that our schools are different. And when you look at those that would have been built before 1994 and years before that, they definitely do not have the age appropriateness that which we are permanently putting now. And also they don't have the early childhood development centers that are found in all our schools.
So I'm going to get to these toilets that you're saying you're building in just a moment, but if you're building flushing toilets and these toilets are supposed to help, but they cannot be handed over because there's no water where you've built the flushing toilets, one would then ask, why build this white elephant without sorting out the issues of ensuring that, to begin with, as the Department of Education, yes, it's not your mandate, but you contact the relevant departments and you say, we need water flowing here, because we need to ensure that as we're building these flushing toilets, we are making sure that we're improving, the sanitation of the learners. It is their right. But now if we're building them and the toilets are handed over, but they cannot be flushed because there's no water.
No. What we actually do is to build what we call VIP toilets. It's a ventilated infrastructural toilets. And those VIP, they are built in such a way that at a particular period, the waste product that would have been inside gets to be sucked out and be deposited somewhere. Because if you can wait for bulk water system to be rolled out in different communities in the Eastern Cape, I tell you, most probably you'll be waiting for the next 10 years. And the only improvision that we could do as a department is to make sure that we do go and do what we call the cleaning of toilets. That means we clean what is inside the toilet so that the toilet can be habitable for it to be used in a longer time. And I must say that water availability is a national crisis. I'm not going to argue on that. But what we also have as an obligation as a department is to make sure that we provide sanitation. And in areas where we know that water provision is a problem, we make sure that a school has a tank and a school has a built toilet, that which will be able to be sucked as it when there is a need. So the tanks that we provide, they for purposes of washing hands and also making sure that learners are able to use a toilet that is not going to be hygienic problematic for them.
So that is
the
in
January that we are doing.
In January 2014, 5-year-old Michael Komape dies in a pit toilet in Limpopo. Is it not an injustice to the children who are attending these schools that have pit toilets that they still need to be talking about this in 2025?
To be quite honest, I wouldn't want to get close to that argument because there are some incidents like that. But when a report comes out, you'll find that it is not what would have been understood in the public. And for anyone to come and not speak truth in the platform would be misleading the public. The reality and the fact of the matter is there is a concentrated effort that needs to be done just general by government of making sure that as we build toilets, water reclamation is happening in different communities. But for it to happen at a speed that which we need as a department, it does not depend on us. And in the meantime, we can then not have a school that has got a toilet.
But you can push, And the reason I say you can push, right, it's because you've got the Basic Education Minister who has set a target of ensuring that all pit toilets are removed from schools by next month. That's just in 2 weeks' time, or in less than 2 weeks' time, actually. And if we are to see that report by the Human Rights Commission, one is looking at this as a deadline that's not going to be met. And I say this, even understanding that as the Education Department in the province as well, same like other provinces, you are now struggling with shrinking budgets as well. So is that even a realistic expectation to put on yourselves as the department, because now people are looking to see what happens next month?
Let me say that the plans and the expectations were realistic at the time, but realities came in, and one of those is the fact that we had to grapple with the issue of having to either offload teachers or redirect budget from this infrastructure in the context of the Department of Education. And between the two, we chose to retain our own educators and then reduce some of the infrastructural projects that we were supposed to be doing, because initially, by now, in terms of the plan and the infrastructural support that was coming from national, we wouldn't be talking about the pit toilets in the entire country. But when the realities of having to choose between retaining teachers and providing a pit toilet, we then chose the one of retaining teachers, because we understand that one teacher is equal to 15 family members that were to go without food in the table. So that is the kind of a catch-22 situation. Hence, therefore, we agree with the minister, Mr. Vuyiseka Mboxela, when he says that in whatever that gets to be happen when it comes to budget presentation, one department that must not be compromised is Department of Education, because it talks to the future of the country, and that is the most critical part in the operation of the entire country. And lastly, maybe I must say it, Ms. Swane, that One would have understood that the conceptualization of the district development model, which was launched by the president, was to respond exactly in what you are saying, that what is being planned by Department A is also understood by Department A, by Department B. But in certain instances, you find that there are gaps and there are shortfalls. But I do believe that as leadership is tasked with a plan, they will understand that as we move swiftly with the eradication of toilets as the Department of Education, there is a great need to make sure that the connectivity of water supply in different communities is happening, especially in rural provinces like Eastern Cape, KZN, and Mpumalanga.